Sarah stood by the window of her cozy farmhouse, gazing out at the fields that stretched beyond her property. The sun was setting, casting a warm golden light over the crops. But inside her heart, there was a chill that no amount of sunlight could warm. It had been a year since her husband Tom passed away unexpectedly, and every day felt like a struggle. As the wind rustled through the tall grass, it was a reminder of the life they had built together, now shadowed by loss. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more. And tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. She ran a hand through her hair and sighed deeply. Her two children, Emily and Jake, were playing in the living room, their laughter mingling with the sound of clattering toys. They were both young. Emily was 8 and Jake was 6. And while they brought joy into her life, Sarah often felt overwhelmed. The responsibilities of running the farm and providing for them weighed heavily on her shoulders. Tom had been her partner in everything, from planting seeds in spring to harvesting crops in the fall. Now, it all rested solely on her. Every day began early in the morning and ended late at night. Sarah woke up before dawn to tend to the animals and prepare breakfast for her kids. It was a routine she had grown accustomed to. However, she often found herself looking around for Tom's familiar presence. She missed his laughter as he joked with Emily and Jake during breakfast, or his warm hugs after a long day of work. With each passing day, she tried to remind herself that she needed to be strong for her children. But some days, it felt impossible. After dinner one evening, Sarah decided that it was time to tackle the barn. It had fallen into disarray over the past year, filled with old equipment and memories that she had pushed aside. Perhaps clearing it out would help ease her mind. As she gathered some supplies, a broom, a dustpan, and a flashlight, she felt a flicker of determination. Stepping outside into the crisp evening air, she made her way to the barn, its weathered wooden door creaking as she opened it. Inside, the musty smell hit her immediately. Shadows danced across the walls as she turned on her flashlight, revealing cobwebs draping from every corner. The barn had once been vibrant with activity. Now it felt more like a repository of forgotten dreams. With each sweep of the broom, Sarah unearthed various items. An old saddle here, a rusted plow there. Each piece held stories from their lives together, a testament to hard work and dedication. She paused for a moment to wipe a tear from her eye as memories flooded back. Tom teaching Jake to ride on that saddle, or Emily helping him fix the plow. As she moved deeper into the barn, something caught her eye. A corner shrouded in darkness, partially hidden behind stacks of hay bales and dusty crates. Curiosity tugged at her as she made her way over. There, tucked away as if waiting patiently for someone to find it, was an old wooden chest. The wood was worn but sturdy. Intricate carvings adorned its surface, hinting at stories locked inside. Sarah's heart raced as she knelt down beside it. She brushed off layers of dust with trembling fingers and noticed that it felt strangely familiar. Was this something Tom had kept? Leaning closer, she examined the chest for any sign of how to open it, but found none. Just then, she recalled how Tom used to tell tales about finding treasures in forgotten places. Was this treasure meant for her? After some effort and a little elbow grease, she managed to pry open the chest's lid. The hinges creaked loudly, as if awakening from a long slumber. Inside lay a chaotic assortment of items, a collection of letters tied with twine, old photographs capturing moments from their past, and small mementos that spoke volumes about their love story. With each item she pulled out one by one, Sarah felt like she was diving into a treasure trove of memories. Their wedding day picture where they looked so blissfully happy. A letter written during their first year of marriage filled with dreams and plans for their future. Tickets from a concert they attended together long ago. But amidst all these cherished belongings laid something else. An object wrapped tightly in fabric that seemed out of place among all the letters and photographs. Her heart raced as she gently unwrapped it to reveal a locket shimmering softly in the dim light of the barn. It was beautiful and delicate, something that felt very personal. As Sarah held it in her palm, she realized this locket had belonged to her all along. It held a photograph of her before marriage, a reminder of who she was before life became consumed by responsibilities and heartache. In that moment, a deep sense of connection washed over her. It felt like Tom was reaching out from beyond to remind her not to lose herself amidst grief and duty. She took a deep breath and allowed herself to feel everything. The sadness for what had been lost, but also gratitude for what remained. Love that would never fade away, even as time moved forward. Determined now more than ever to share this treasure not just with herself but also with Emily and Jake, Sarah smiled softly amidst tears streaming down her cheeks, as if for the first time in many months, she could finally see hope poking through the clouds of despair. The next day dawned bright and clear, with the sun casting a warm glow over the farm. Sarah woke up feeling a flicker of determination. As she sipped her morning coffee, she gazed out the kitchen window at the barn, which had been a vital part of her life with Tom. It stood tall, but was now filled with clutter. Old tools, hay bales, and memories piled on memories. She felt an urge to bring it back to life. "Today's the day," she whispered to herself, setting her mug down. After breakfast, she called Emily and Jake into the living room. "How about we go on a little adventure today? We're going to explore the barn and clean it up together." The children's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Can we find treasure?" Jake asked eagerly, bouncing on his toes. "Absolutely," Sarah replied, a grin spreading across her face. "Let's see what we can discover." They donned their old work gloves and headed outside, the warmth of the sun kissing their cheeks as they walked toward the barn. The grass underfoot felt soft and springy, a nice change from the hard ground they often worked on. Sarah felt a sense of purpose swell in her chest. This was more than just cleaning out the barn. It was a chance to rediscover pieces of their family history. As they reached the barn door, Sarah took a moment to appreciate its familiar sight. The wooden structure was weathered but sturdy, full of character just like the home it sheltered. She pushed open the heavy door, and it creaked in protest, echoing within the hollow space. A rush of musty air greeted them, mixed with hints of hay and earth. Once inside, they were met with a jumble of forgotten items. Dust motes danced in the sunlight, streaming through cracks in the wooden walls. Sarah knelt down with her children and started to sort through some of the things piled against one wall. "Let's see what we've got here," she said, lifting an old feed sack to reveal rusty tools hidden underneath. "Look at this," Emily exclaimed, holding up a small set of gardening tools that had seen better days. "We can use these to help in the garden." "Good find," Sarah praised her daughter as she took the tools and cleaned them off with her sleeve. They continued digging through boxes, revealing various treasures, an old wheelbarrow that could still hold a load of dirt, and even a bicycle frame that had once belonged to Jake's uncle. With each item uncovered, laughter filled the barn as they shared stories about how Tom had used many of these tools during his time working on the farm. Sarah encouraged her children to imagine their father's hands on each object as they reminisced about past adventures in that very barn. "Hey, Mom, what's this?" Jake shouted from across the room. He held up a faded red toolbox that looked like it hadn't been touched in years. Curiosity tinged with excitement washed over them as they gathered around him. Sarah knelt beside Jake and opened the toolbox slowly. Inside were various tools, screwdrivers, wrenches, and pliers, all jumbled together in disarray. "These were your dad's favorites," she explained softly, remembering how Tom had lovingly fixed everything from squeaky doors to broken toys. Jake examined each tool carefully, while Emily added her commentary like an excited news anchor reporting on treasured finds. "This one is for turning screws, and this one is for fixing things." "Can we keep them, Mom?" "Of course," Sarah replied with a smile. Her heart swelled seeing her children so engaged in something that reminded them of their father. As they dug deeper into the corners of the barn, uncovering old crates filled with hay and even discovering an ancient rocking horse that needed a good polish, Sarah felt lighter amidst all this work. It was as if every item they found was helping mend a piece of her heart. Then, while clearing out a particularly dense area near the back wall, she spotted something strange, partially hidden behind stacks of old hay bales. A wooden chest adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to beckon her closer. It looked out of place among the rusty tools and dusty furniture. "What do you think it is?" Emily asked, eyes wide with wonder. "I don't know," Sarah admitted with intrigue in her voice, leaning closer to inspect it. "But I think we're about to find out." With a sense of excitement bubbling within them all, Sarah cleared away some remaining hay before attempting to lift the chest out into the light. As it came free from its resting place, she brushed away years of dust from its surface and felt her heartbeat quicken at what might lie within. "Let's open it together," Jake said eagerly as he clasped his hands around the lock. "Okay," Sarah replied, smiling at their shared anticipation. This could be their greatest discovery yet. A new family memory waiting to be unearthed after years hidden away. Together, they gathered around as Sarah prepared to open it. With everything she had experienced since Tom's passing, the mourning and heartache, she felt a glimmer of hope rise within her once again. Maybe cleansing this space would not only help revive their farm, but also revive pieces of their lives that had been lost along with Tom. As she lifted the lid slowly and watched it creak open, she had no idea just how much this moment would change everything for her family moving forward. As Sarah knelt beside the dusty wooden chest, her heart raced with excitement and curiosity. It was unlike anything she had seen before. Adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to tell a story of their own. The chest looked like it had been waiting patiently for someone to discover it. She brushed off layers of dust and dirt, feeling as if she were unearthing a long-lost secret from her family's past. "Look at this," Jake exclaimed, leaning closer to get a better view. His eyes sparkled with wonder, mirroring Sarah's own feelings of anticipation. Emily stood at her side, her hands on her hips, studying the chest with wide-eyed amazement. "What do you think is inside?" Emily asked, her voice barely above a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might scare away the treasure hidden within. "I don't know, but it feels special," Sarah replied, her voice tinged with awe. Memories of Tom flooded her mind, how he loved surprises and the thrill of finding hidden treasures. This felt like one of those moments, as if he had left this for them to find together. "Can we open it?" Jake insisted, bouncing on his toes with excitement. "Let's be careful," Sarah said, feeling the weight of the moment. She didn't want to rush this. There was something magical about the anticipation hanging in the air. First, let's see if there's a way to unlock it. Sarah examined the chest more closely. It had no visible keyhole or latch that she could see. Instead, it seemed to be held shut by time and dust. She took a deep breath and imagined all the stories that might be contained within its walls. Letters from Tom, photographs of happier times, or even mementos of adventures they had shared as a family. As she turned it gently in her hands, Sarah noticed that one end had a small metal clasp that looked like it could be lifted. With her children watching closely, she nudged the clasp upward. To her surprise, it popped open with a satisfying click, revealing that the chest was still securely shut, but now held promise instead of mystery. "Okay," she said slowly, savoring the moment. "On the count of 3, we will open it together." Her heart pounded as she glanced at her children. Their faces were lit up with eager anticipation. 1, 2, 3, they shouted in unison as Sarah lifted the lid. The hinges creaked in protest, but gave way easily, and they all collectively held their breath. Inside the chest lay an assortment of items: tangled letters tied with twine, faded photographs peeking out from under old newspaper clippings, and small trinkets that glimmered faintly in the dim light of the barn. Each piece seemed to beckon them closer. "Wow!" Emily exclaimed as she reached in and pulled out a photograph. It was a picture of Sarah and Tom on their wedding day, wearing bright smiles that captured pure joy. "Mom, look, you were so pretty." Sarah's heart swelled with both pride and nostalgia as she took the photograph from Emily's hand. "That was a special day," she said softly, lost in memories of love and laughter shared with Tom. Jake grabbed hold of an old letter and began reading aloud. "Dear Sarah." His voice faltered slightly as he traced the familiar handwriting. This was definitely from his father. It says, "I can't wait to spend my life with you." Tears welled in Sarah's eyes as she listened to Jake read Tom's words. This was more than just finding forgotten belongings. It felt like reconnecting with Tom himself, his essence encapsulated within these letters and photos. "This is amazing," Jake said enthusiastically after finishing the letter. "It's like Dad is here with us." "Yes," Sarah replied gently as she wiped away a tear from her cheek. "He really is." They continued exploring the contents of the chest together, finding little treasures that told their family story woven through time. Concert tickets from their first outing as a couple, notes scrawled in Tom's handwriting filled with love notes left hidden for Sarah to find on busy mornings. Each item uncovered added another layer to their memories and helped bridge the gap left by Tom's absence. Sarah could feel warmth growing in her heart, a kind of bittersweet comfort knowing that even after loss, love never truly disappears. It only changes form. Finally, while digging down deeper into the chest's contents, Sarah felt something smooth and cold against her fingertips, wrapped tightly in soft fabric. She carefully pulled it out to reveal a delicate locket that shimmered softly under the barn's dim light. "What is this?" Emily asked curiously, leaning closer. "It looks beautiful," Jake added excitedly. As Sarah held it up to examine more closely, she realized that this locket was hers, a piece from her past that had been tucked away over time, but felt like an essential part of who she was before everything changed. In that moment, surrounded by memories and love shared within the barn walls, this place where they had gathered not just to work, but to build a family, Sarah felt a renewed sense of hope. That locket served as a reminder not only of who she was before, but also who she could still be moving forward for herself and for her children. With newfound determination sparkling in her eyes, She smiled at Emily and Jake. "This is just the beginning," she said softly. "There are many more stories waiting for us to discover." As Sarah stood with her children around the wooden chest, the air was thick with anticipation. The barn felt alive with energy, echoing their shared excitement. She took a deep breath, steadying her nerves as she prepared to lift the lid. The moment felt monumental, as if they were about to unlock a treasure trove filled with pieces of their family history. "Okay, on the count of 3, she said, glancing at Emily and Jake. Their eager faces lit up with hope and curiosity. 1, 2, 3, they shouted in unison. With a gentle tug, Sarah lifted the lid. It creaked open slowly, revealing the hidden contents within. As the sunlight streamed into the chest, illuminating its dark interior, a wave of emotion washed over her. The sight inside was both overwhelming and heartwarming. Inside the chest lay a collection of items that seemed like fragments of their past. Tangled letters tied with faded twine, old photographs peeking out from under crumpled newspaper clippings, and small trinkets that glimmered softly in the dim light of the barn. Each piece felt like a key to unlock memories long tucked away in her heart. "Mom, look at this," Emily exclaimed as she reached in and pulled out a photograph. It was a snapshot of Sarah and Tom on their wedding day, radiating happiness. They stood under an archway draped in flowers, arms wrapped around each other, faces lit up with joy that seemed to glow even now. "Wow, you were so pretty," Jake chimed in, his voice filled with admiration as he leaned closer to get a better look. "It was a beautiful day," Sarah replied softly, her eyes misty as she held the photo in her hands. The image stirred memories of laughter and love, the promise they had made to each other that seemed to echo through time. Feeling a rush of nostalgia, she carefully placed the photo aside and reached for one of the letters peeking from between some old postcards. It was addressed to her in Tom's familiar handwriting. Her heart raced as she unfolded it delicately, each crease telling a story of its own. "Dear Sarah," she began reading aloud, her voice trembling slightly. "I can't wait to spend my life with you." The words brought tears to her eyes as she continued reading his affectionate sentiments and dreams for their future together. A future filled with love and adventure. As she finished reading, the reality of Tom's absence hit her like a wave crashing against the shore. Tears streamed down her cheeks. It felt as though he was right there beside her again, whispering those words directly into her heart. "This is amazing," Jake said softly after listening intently. "It's like Dad is here with us." "Yes," Sarah whispered back, wiping away her tears but feeling warmth bloom within her heart. "He really is." They continued exploring the contents of the chest together, uncovering little treasures that painted pictures of their family life. Concert tickets from their first date, sketches Tom had drawn while waiting for dinner to cook, and playful notes he'd left behind on busy mornings just to remind Sarah how much he loved her. With every item unearthed from within the chest, Sarah felt layers of grief begin to peel away, replaced by warmth and comfort found in these tangible pieces of love. It was as if each letter and photograph brought Tom back into their lives momentarily. It rekindled feelings that had been buried under sorrow for far too long. Jake held up one of Tom's old tools from the chest, an old wrench that had seen countless repairs around the farm, while Emily laughed about how Dad had used it to fix everything from squeaky doors to broken toys. They all shared stories and giggles over memories wrapped within each object they discovered. Then Sarah's fingers brushed against something smooth and cold, wrapped tightly in soft fabric nestled at the bottom of the chest. With delicate care, she pulled it out to reveal a beautiful locket that shimmered gently in the light. A piece that felt incredibly personal. "What is this?" Emily asked curiously, leaning closer. "It looks beautiful," Jake added excitedly. As Sarah held it up to examine more closely, realization washed over her. It was hers, a treasured remembrance from before life had become focused solely on responsibilities and loss. Inside was a miniature portrait of herself from years ago, a reminder not only of who she once was, but also who she could still be moving forward. In that moment, surrounded by memories shared within those barn walls, this place where they had built a family, Sarah felt renewed determination blossom inside her heart. The locket became a symbol of hope. It represented resilience amidst grief and served as a reminder that even though Tom was no longer physically present, his love would always guide them forward. She smiled at Emily and Jake, who mirrored her joy-filled expression. "This is just the beginning," she said softly but firmly. "There are so many more stories waiting for us to discover." Together, they sat amidst scattered letters and photographs, lost moments now revived, and embraced this new chapter filled with memories that would continue to shape their family legacy for years to come. As they sat together in the barn, surrounded by the treasures unearthed from the chest, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of connection to her past and to Tom. With letters and photographs scattered across their laps, each piece held a story waiting to be told. "Let's go through this together," she suggested, picking up a bundle of letters tied with faded twine. The letters were written during their early years together, filled with excitement, dreams, and plans for their future. She began to read aloud, her voice soft, yet filled with emotion. "Dear Sarah," she read, her heart swelling as she recalled the young couple they once were. "I can't believe how lucky I am to have you by my side." The words brought back vivid memories of their wedding day. The laughter shared with friends and family, the dance under twinkling lights, and the promises exchanged. "I remember that day," Emily exclaimed, her eyes shining brightly. "You wore that beautiful dress." "It was the happiest day of my life," Sarah replied, glancing at the photograph that had captured that moment so perfectly. She held it up for them to see, a snapshot of herself in the flowing white gown alongside Tom in his sharp suit. They looked so young and in love, radiating joy that filled the air around them. Jake leaned closer. "Did you really get to kiss Dad in front of everyone?" he asked with a playful grin. "Yes, it was quite a show," Sarah chuckled, wiping away a tear of nostalgia. Despite the tears that lingered on her cheeks, there was lightness in her heart as they reminisced about those days. As they continued exploring the contents of the chest, they stumbled upon another bundle of photographs encased in an old envelope labeled Family Adventures. With eager hands, they flipped through pictures from family vacations, snapshots of beach days filled with laughter as waves crashed against their legs, camping trips where they roasted marshmallows under starlit skies, and road trips where every mile brought new adventures and stories to tell. "There's us at the beach," Jake exclaimed excitedly as he pointed to a picture where he was barely more than a toddler covered in sand, while Tom tossed Emily into the air with carefree laughter. "I wish I could remember that. We made so many wonderful memories," Sarah said softly. "But you know what? You can still make even more." Feeling invigorated by these memories, she turned toward another photograph showing Tom cradling newborn Jake in his arms at the hospital, while Emily sat beside them, looking proud as ever. That moment had marked their transition into parenthood, a leap into love that transformed their lives forever. "This is from when you were born," Sarah explained gently to Jake. "Your dad was overjoyed." "Look at him." Emily giggled at how Tom's face lit up with pride and happiness. "He looks like he's never been happier." "Being your dad was his greatest joy," Sarah said softly as she wiped away a fresh tear from her cheek. It felt good to share these moments with her children, to ensure Tom's memory lived on within each story they cherished together. They dug deeper into the chest, a treasure trove bursting with emotions, and found concert tickets and handwritten notes tucked between layers of memories. Sweet messages Tom had left for Sarah on particularly hectic mornings just to remind her how much he loved her amidst life's chaos. "Mom, look!" Emily shouted suddenly as she pulled out a small scrapbook filled with drawings done by Jake over the years. A compilation of art projects celebrating birthdays and special occasions, all lovingly preserved within these pages. "It's like Dad put this together for us." Jake beamed proudly. He had always loved sharing his artwork with Tom. Sarah flipped through it carefully. Each drawing evoked feelings both joyful and bittersweet, as she remembered how much energy Tom put into supporting Jake's creativity. How he'd spend hours helping him craft little masterpieces or encouraging him during school art shows. Amidst all this searching through fond recollections and treasured moments came an envelope tucked away at the bottom labeled, "For my family." An unmistakable rush surged through Sarah as she opened it cautiously. It contained a letter from Tom addressed to them all. With hearts racing in unison, they gathered closely around as Sarah began reading it aloud. "My dearest Emily and Jake," she started slowly. "If you are reading this letter someday, know that I love you both very much." Tears brimmed in her eyes while warmth spread through her heart as she witnessed her children lean closer, intently listening to every word written by their father, who remained ever present despite being physically gone. In his letter, Tom expressed his hopes for them, the wishes he had for each child's future wrapped in unconditional love. Encouragement for them to chase dreams fearlessly while never forgetting where they came from. A home built on laughter and love shared between family members. Each sentence unraveled another thread, connecting them deeply, not just to memories, but also reinforcing bonds that would guide their lives moving forward together, without him physically present, but always alive, within spirit. As Sarah folded up that cherished letter, filled with love, immortalized on paper once more into its envelope, aside from all other memorabilia around them, she couldn't help but feel lighter, surrounded by treasured remnants, revealing not only what was lost, but also what remained forever, etched into their hearts. Love, everlasting, even woven through grief. "This is just part of our story," she said gently after finishing reading aloud, before glancing at Jake and Emily, who were still captivated by every word shared throughout their journey down memory lane, sparked by this magical wooden chest hidden within barn walls long forgotten. Until now, a gateway opening toward healing hearts, readying themselves for future adventures, awaiting a head crafted hand in hand alongside cherished memories retained forever. Alive between them all, intertwined within eternal warmth, experienced daily. Through love still thriving today, despite loss faced along life's journey ahead, guiding paths forward destined towards brighter tomorrows, yet unseen. As Sarah and her children continued to explore the wooden chest, they became more and more engrossed in the memories each item held. The laughter and stories flowed freely, filling the barn with warmth. But Sarah could feel a lingering sense of anticipation, mixed with curiosity. What else lay hidden within the depths of this treasure trove? After sorting through letters, photographs, and mementos that seemed to encapsulate their family history, she noticed there was still something at the bottom of the chest, wrapped in a soft cloth, It was unlike anything else they had found so far. The air seemed to thicken as she reached down, her fingers brushing against the fabric. Its smoothness felt comforting yet mysterious. "What do you think it is?" Jake asked, his eyes wide with anticipation, while Emily leaned in closer, eager to see what their mother would reveal next. "I'm not sure," Sarah replied softly, her heartbeat quickening as she carefully lifted the cloth. There was an undeniable sense of suspense hanging in the air. This moment felt significant. Lifting the cloth away revealed a locket that caught the light in such a way that it shimmered like a star against the dim backdrop of the barn. It was delicate yet sturdy, a piece that seemed to carry an aura all its own. She felt a surge of emotion wash over her as memories flooded back from years gone by. "Wow, it's so pretty," Emily exclaimed, reaching out to touch it gently with her fingertips. "It is beautiful," Sarah agreed, her voice barely above a whisper as she cradled the locket in her palm. She turned it slowly, examining its intricate design, etchings that danced in patterns across its surface. With trembling hands, she opened it with great care, revealing a small photograph tucked inside. The image was slightly faded but still recognizable. It was a picture of herself before she got married, a carefree young woman full of dreams and joy. "Oh my gosh, Mom, you look so different," Jake exclaimed playfully as he leaned closer to get a better look at his mother's youthful face frozen in time. Sarah couldn't help but smile through her tears at his innocent observation. "That girl had many hopes and dreams," she replied softly, lost in thought. "I remember those days. They were filled with endless possibilities." In that moment, as she looked at the photograph of herself smiling brightly back from years ago, Sarah felt an emotional pull deep within her heart. It represented not just who she had been before marriage, but also reminded her of all she had accomplished since then. The love story woven together with Tom that shaped her life into what it was now. "What do you think Dad would say if he saw this?" Emily asked thoughtfully. Sarah paused for a moment before answering. It took her back to when Tom used to remind her how special she was, not just as a wife or mother, but as an individual too. "He'd tell me how beautiful I am no matter what, and remind me never to forget who I am." The locket began to feel like more than just another piece of jewelry. It became a symbol, a reminder that amidst all life's responsibilities and changes throughout motherhood after losing him, her identity remained vital and alive. "I want you both to have this someday," Sarah said softly after taking a breath filled with renewed determination. "It holds both my past and hope for our future." "Can we wear it now?" Jake asked eagerly. "It needs care," Sarah replied gently, running her fingers across its delicate surface again before wrapping it back into its cloth for safekeeping later on. But before tucking it away entirely into one corner of their treasure trove chest, filled with memories long cherished, she felt compelled once again for them all to keep hold onto this connection, entwined deeply among family bonds, even after loss faced down life's journey ahead, leading towards brighter tomorrows unseen, yet always within reach, despite challenges lying ahead. Waiting around every turn along paths, they walked together, hand in hand, moving forward. "This locket reminds us," she shared quietly but firmly, looking into their curious eyes, sparkling with understanding, now forming deeper connections growing between them. Each carving away layers formed by grief, ultimately guiding their hearts closer towards healing amid shared love, experienced daily through every beautiful moment remembered, stored safely together, forever alive, beyond loss faced along life's journey, onward shaping futures, yet waiting patiently ahead, created collectively, side by side always. As Sarah sat in the barn, surrounded by her children, the locket gently cradled in her hand, she felt a mixture of emotions swirling within her. Memories washed over her in waves, each one intimate and powerful, reminding her of moments shared with Tom that would forever be etched in her heart. The ache of loss was still present, but alongside it blossomed a profound gratitude for the love they had experienced together. Looking at Emily and Jake, who were now playfully discussing their favorite memories of their father, Sarah couldn't help but smile. They were part of him, reflections of his spirit woven into their very beings. Each moment we shared, she thought to herself, is a thread in the tapestry of our lives. She remembered their first date, nervous laughter filling the air as they strolled through a park under twinkling stars. Tom had held her hand with such tenderness that she felt safe and cherished. Those early days had been filled with dreams and plans, excitement about the future ahead. Yet now, here she was, holding on to those memories while navigating life without him. Sarah's fingers traced the delicate etchings on the locket as she recalled so vividly how Tom would often tell her, "No matter where life takes us, always remember who you are." His words rang true in this moment, as she looked at her reflection from years ago captured within that tiny photo. A flicker of her youthful self shone through, the girl who dared to dream without limits. "Mom?" Emily's voice broke through her reverie. "What do you like most about Dad?" Caught off guard by the question, Sarah paused for a moment before answering. "He had this amazing ability to make any day feel special," she said thoughtfully. "Even when things were tough or we were busy on the farm, he always found a way to bring joy into our lives. Whether that meant dancing around the kitchen or going on spontaneous adventures." Jake chimed in enthusiastically. "And he was the best at making pancakes. Remember how he shaped them into animals?" Laughter bubbled up between them, a beautiful sound reverberating against the age-old barn walls that felt alive with memories. Those small moments defined their life together. Pancake mornings filled with giggles and syrup-drizzled faces. Family dinners where everyone shared stories about their day. Evenings spent lying under the stars, pointing out constellations, while Tom recounted tales from his childhood. Yet, amid these cherished memories, lay an undeniable truth. Tom was gone. The pain seeped through like shadows creeping across twilight, a reminder of absence that could never truly fade away. But then Sarah considered something deeper. The love embedded within those memories would never be lost. It lived on as long as they held it tightly within themselves. "Sometimes it hurts," she admitted softly after wiping away tears that had pooled at the corners of her eyes. "But I realize now that it's also okay to feel joy while remembering him. Grieving doesn't mean forgetting." Emily leaned against her mother's shoulder reassuringly. "We can carry him with us wherever we go," she said wisely, echoing sentiments far beyond her years. "Yes, he'll always be part of our family," Jake added resolutely, as if solidifying that promise into reality. A bond forged by love, not easily broken by time or distance. Feeling touched by their insights, Sarah reflected on how each child embodied pieces of their father. Their laughter mirrored his joy-filled spirit. Emily's kindness reflected his nurturing heart. Jake's silliness reminded her so much of Tom's playful nature. At that moment, staring into their bright eyes, filled with hope for all that lay ahead, their new journey together illuminated before them. Sarah felt like she was beginning to heal in ways she hadn't expected. The memories they shared weren't just reminders of what they'd lost. They served also as building blocks, guiding them forward into tomorrow. Each one encouraging laughter amidst sadness. Moments sparking courage, even amid uncertainty, while weaving together stories yet unwritten, waiting patiently to unfold across uncharted paths, leading upward toward brighter horizons, beckoning endlessly in front. I have something special I want to share with you both, Sarah said suddenly, when an idea struck her mind as potent as sunlight, breaking through clouds after rain. A cultivating warmth rising up throughout the barn space, formerly shadowed by grief, now alive. Once more, glowing radiantly, revealing layers being shed beneath heartstrings, forming connections stronger than ever before. Binding them closer together, heading toward future adventures looming ahead, waiting just outside their reach. Yet boldly accessible feeling, ever more tangible, every step taken onward, tangled beautifully, intertwined, forever shrouded lovingly under angelic whispering breezes, telling tales meant solely for three hearts, ready embarking upon life anew, enriched, fully threaded, upon endless values, holding tight, intrinsically woven throughout shared love, prevailing eternally, still thriving daily amid breathtaking moments, lived all together, enduring bonds, shaping family legacies, generously gifted lifetime upon lifetime, continued forging unbreakable ties, paved onward beyond eternity ahead. As Sarah sat in the barn with Emily and Jake, the afternoon sunlight poured through the cracks in the wooden walls, illuminating the treasure trove they had uncovered. The chest lay open before them, filled with memories that seemed to pulse with life, a testament to the love they once shared as a family. Now, it was time to explore those memories together and pass on the stories of their father, Tom. "Let's go through everything again," Sarah suggested, her voice filled with warmth. "Each piece here tells us something special about your dad and the love he had for both of you." Emily's eyes sparkled with curiosity as she leaned forward, eager to dive back into the collection. "I want to hear all the stories," she exclaimed, while Jake nodded enthusiastically beside her. With a gentle smile, Sarah picked up a bundle of letters that had been tied together with fraying twine. "These letters are some of my favorites," she began, holding them up for her children to see. "Your dad wrote them when we were first falling in love. They're filled with his hopes and dreams for our future together." "Can you read one?" Jake asked, his voice filled with excitement. "Of course," Sarah replied, untangling the twine carefully. She chose one letter at random and began to read aloud. "Dear Sarah, every moment spent with you makes my heart feel like it's dancing." As she read, she could see Emily and Jake hanging on every word, their expressions shifting from curiosity to wonder. "That sounds like Dad," Emily whispered, her face lighting up with recognition as she listened to descriptions of moments shared between Sarah and Tom. Sarah continued reading with a smile on her face, remembering how those early days had felt so full of possibility and excitement. "He always knew how to make me feel special," she said softly after finishing the letter. "And I want you both to feel that same love, even if you can't see him anymore." Jake looked up at his mother and asked, "Do you think Dad would be proud of us?" "Absolutely," Sarah answered without hesitation. "He loved you both so much. You remind me of him every day, the way you laugh and care for each other." She gestured toward a photograph tucked next to the letters. One of Tom cradling baby Jake, while Emily sat nearby with a proud grin. "Just look at this picture from when you were born. Your dad was overjoyed." Emily giggled as she pointed at Jake in the photo. "I was so little. Look at my tiny hands." "Yes, and Dad was so happy," Sarah reflected, feeling warmth spread through her heart. "He was such a loving father from the very start." They continued exploring the chest together, pulling out concert tickets, playful drawings from family outings, and little notes from Tom written during busy mornings to brighten Sarah's day. Each discovery sparked laughter and shared stories that echoed through the barn, filling it with life despite the absence of their loved one. Remember this? Sarah held up a goofy drawing Jake had made during a family vacation. A crayon masterpiece featuring squiggly lines and bright colors representing their time by the beach. Jake laughed loudly as he recognized his own creation. I remember drawing that while Dad pretended to be a pirate. He thought it was the best picture ever. Yes, he loved your creativity, Sarah affirmed, her heart swelling with pride as she watched Jake beam with joy over the memory. He always encouraged you to express yourself. As they continued digging through the items in the chest, Sarah felt a sense of healing wash over her. Each item was a reminder of who Tom was and how deeply he loved his family. She could see that love reflected in Emily and Jake. Their laughter mirrored his joy-filled spirit, while their kindness embodied his nurturing heart. "Mom," Emily said thoughtfully as she picked up another photograph, "do you think Dad is watching us right now?" Sarah paused for a moment before answering. "I believe he is," she replied gently, looking into Emily's hopeful eyes. "In every laugh we share and every memory we create together, he lives on within us." The afternoon light continued to pour into the barn as they settled down among the treasures scattered around them. It felt almost magical, the laughter reverberating against wooden beams infused with love, not only flowing from memories, but also from an unbreakable bond forged through shared experiences. "I want to keep these things safe," Jake said earnestly as he looked around at all they had found. "We all do," Sarah agreed warmly. "These memories are part of us now. They remind us of what we've lived through together and how we'll continue moving forward as a family." With renewed determination, Sarah gathered up the items carefully and tucked them back into the chest. She would make sure that each piece was preserved, protected as they journeyed through life, without Tom physically present, but forever ingrained in their hearts. As they closed the lid on their hidden treasure once more, Sarah took a deep breath, filled with gratitude for all they had shared and all that lay ahead. A journey enriched by love, woven tightly together through cherished memories created side by side within this family. They would continue to build, one full of hope, waiting patiently just beyond every corner ahead, beckoning brightly towards new beginnings, shaped together hand in hand, stepping forward into tomorrow. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the barn, Sarah felt a sense of calm settle within her. The wooden chest stood closed now, but its contents lingered in her heart, filling her with a mix of nostalgia and strength. She looked around at Emily and Jake, who were still buzzing with excitement about their recent discoveries, each memory reinforcing the love they shared as a family. "Today was special," she said softly, breaking the comforting silence that had wrapped around them. "We found so many beautiful pieces of our past." "Yes," Emily replied, her face glowing with enthusiasm. "I loved hearing all those stories about Dad. It makes me feel like he's still here with us." Sarah nodded, her heart swelling with pride and affection for her children. They had shared laughter and joy while remembering Tom, transforming what once felt like heavy sadness into lightness. The warmth of those memories would never fade. Instead, they would continue to grow alongside Emily and Jake. "I want you both to remember something," Sarah said, her voice steady yet gentle. "While it's okay to miss your dad, and believe me, I do too, it's also important that we carry him with us as we move forward. His love is always with us, even if he's not here physically. Jake's expression turned thoughtful as he glanced at the locket resting in Sarah's hand. "Mom, do you think Dad would want us to be happy, even without him?" "Absolutely," Sarah responded immediately. "He would want us to live fully and embrace life, all the moments big and small. He believed in making every day special." With those words echoing in their hearts, Sarah felt a wave of closure wash over her. She realized that while Tom was no longer physically present in their lives, his spirit lived on through the memories they shared and the love that bound them together. They had navigated through grief and emerged stronger on the other side, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. "Let's promise to keep sharing stories about Dad," Emily suggested eagerly as she turned to Jake. "That way, we can always remember him." "Yes," Jake agreed enthusiastically. "And we should write down some of our favorite memories too. That way, we can make our own stories." Sarah smiled at their ideas. They were blossoming into individuals shaped by Tom's love and spirit, reflecting joy and creativity just like him. It filled her with hope for their future together. "Those are wonderful ideas," she said warmly. "Let's start a family journal where we can write down our favorite memories of Dad or even things we want to do together as a family moving forward." With determination set in their eyes, Emily and Jake nodded vigorously as they contemplated all the adventures waiting for them. A future filled with possibilities just waiting to unfold. As they gathered up their things from the barn, carefully placing cherished items back into the chest, Sarah felt lighter than she had in months. The act of holding on to Tom's memory while also embracing what lay ahead felt like an unshakable bond, a bridge connecting both past and future. She took one last look around the barn that had held countless memories. It was no longer just a place filled with shadows, but now a space alive with love echoed throughout its walls. A testament to a family willing to cherish every moment shared despite loss faced along life's journey ahead. Once everything was secured within the chest, Sarah placed her hand gently atop it, as if promising to protect all that it contained. Both memories long cherished and new adventures yet unseen waiting for them all, outside those barn doors readying themselves for tomorrow. "I think your dad would be really proud of how far we've come," she said quietly but firmly to Emily and Jake, who stood beside her looking up expectantly. Together, they walked out of the barn under a sky painted in hues of orange and pink. A perfect backdrop for new beginnings beckoning just beyond tomorrow's horizon, filled with hope shimmering brightly before them, invitingly guiding hearts forward, hand in hand, forever moving onward towards brighter futures, crafted lovingly together, always nurtured by unwavering love, shared amongst them eternally. As Sarah and her children stepped outside the barn, the cool evening air wrapped around them like a comforting blanket. The sky was awash with the colors of twilight, hues of pink and orange blending beautifully, symbolizing the end of one day and the promise of another to come. Holding hands, they walked together, hearts filled with a sense of renewal and hope. The discoveries they had made that day were not just remnants of the past. They were threads woven into the fabric of their lives, tangible reminders of love that could never be erased. As they ventured back toward the farmhouse, Sarah reflected on the profound impact that memories have on healing and strength. Each photograph, letter, and memento found in that wooden chest had opened a door to laughter, joy, and even sorrow, allowing them to honor Tom's memory while also reinforcing their family bonds. With every story shared about Tom, whether it was his charming smile during pancake breakfasts or his playful antics during family outings, the invisible weight of grief felt lighter. Sarah realized that by embracing those cherished memories, she was not only preserving Tom's spirit, but also nurturing a legacy for Emily and Jake. Memories are powerful, she thought to herself. They help us remember who we are and where we come from. In moments of quiet reflection, Sarah often found herself thinking about the importance of holding on to those precious memories. They serve as anchors during turbulent times, reminders that love transcends physical absence. She wanted her children to understand this valuable lesson, that while loss is painful, how we choose to cherish our loved ones' memories can shape our future. As they arrived at the porch of their farmhouse, Sarah turned to her children with a gentle smile. "You know," she said thoughtfully, "today was really special because we took time to remember your dad together." Emily nodded enthusiastically. "And we can keep doing it. We can write down more stories and make new ones too." "Yes," Jake chimed in. "Like when we go on adventures, we'll always have him with us." "Yes," Sarah affirmed, feeling her heart swell with pride for their resilience. "Your dad would want us to keep living life fully, to embrace every moment and create lasting memories together." She took a deep breath as they settled onto the porch steps, looking out over the fields bathed in golden light. The farm had always been a place where laughter echoed through the air, a sanctuary where love blossomed amid challenges. "Let's promise to always talk about him," Emily suggested earnestly as she glanced at her mother and brother. "We can tell our friends who he was too." "That's a great idea," Sarah encouraged. "Sharing his story not only keeps his memory alive, but also allows others to experience the beautiful person he was." As twilight deepened into night, Sarah felt an overwhelming sense of acceptance wash over her. While there would always be moments of sadness, the quiet nights when she missed Tom's presence or the milestones reached without him, she understood now that moving forward did not mean forgetting him. Instead, it meant carrying him in her heart as she embraced new experiences. Life will continue to unfold in unexpected ways, she thought, smiling at Emily and Jake as they chatted animatedly about their plans for tomorrow's adventure, a family bike ride through the countryside. With hearts full of gratitude for what they had shared and excitement for what lay ahead, Sarah felt ready to face each new day with openness and courage. The path ahead would be illuminated by love, the kind that continues even after loss, a guiding light leading them toward brighter tomorrows. "Let's make this promise," she said softly yet firmly, as they all huddled close together on the porch under twinkling stars, now peeking through darkening skies above them. "We will cherish every memory of Dad, while making new ones together as a family." In that moment, under a starlit sky, heartfelt words spoken between them woven into promises, forged strong enough to withstand any storm. They embraced one another tightly, feeling an unbreakable bond formed through shared love, everlasting. A foundation built upon treasured moments, held dear forever alive, within every heartbeat, guiding them forward, hand in hand into futures, brightened by remembrance, nurtured daily through unity, experienced as a family forever intertwined.